They want me back. I feel very compelled to write this after reading other reports on Salvia. After learning to do Reiki and having a long year of soul searching, I was finally ready to try Salvia. I did a lot of research on Salvia for about 2 months. First, I tried the liquid extract myself and found that I had to take almost the entire bottle to produce a small amount of transparent visual patterns, but nothing major. I realized it was going to require more than the liquid to take me to another level. I finally bought 1 gram of the 5 times Salvia extract from a website. I knew I needed a sitter, but found that there were not many people around who were willing to do it. I decided to ask my younger sister. She has experimented with more drugs than I have, so I felt like she was the best and only person qualified to be a sitter for me at this time. Despite precautions, we both ended up trying it, and this is what happened. We were in my extra room looking at a new glass pipe we had bought. I pulled out the salvia and asked her to show me how to smoke it in the pipes. She packed the first bowl and took the first hit, and then I did the second. The first hit was enough to make her think she was inside a video game. She started telling me that I went under the glass table in the room and the walls were melting. Then she looked in the mirror next to her and decided she did not want to be that player in the video game, even though it was her. She was laughing the entire time. I was laughing at her, but I had no visual hallucinations. I was more concerned about her, and it pulled me out of the small high I felt. About 10 minutes later, she asked me if we should do more. I agreed, and we went out and sat on my hammock facing each other. She told me to take the first hit and hold it as long as I could. She packed the bowl, and I took my first hit. It was on my second hit that I started laughing uncontrollably at her, and then I put my head down on my knees. She said I told her, "They're here. They want me. They are coming for me." Then she asked who they were, and I immediately wanted off of the hammock. She said I got off the hammock, ran in a circle, and finally sat down and laughed again. From what I remember, there was a rip in the world where I sat in that hammock and I fell through it to a place with millions of beings making up everything with their arms, bodies, and heads. They didn't want me to go back. They wanted me to stay. I felt like I wanted to go back to my world, and I felt like they might come out of the tear after me to bring me back. I can remember being half in and half out of that wall or tear between both places and seeing the differences between. We had a fun time talking about this for the next couple hours. Finally, almost at sunset, I asked her if she wanted to go for a walk and smoke the last of the salvia. I told her she could take the first hit since we figured out that gives the strongest high. We went out behind our houses to a field and sat down. She took the first hit and we both shared it. Then she packed another bowl. Before she can finish the next hit, she began to look very strange at me. She kept looking through her purse, and then she asked me if she was okay. I didn't get much of a high, so I was thankful to be more sober than her. I could tell she was distressed. Her face was serious and scared. She asked me what was going on, and I told her that we had smoked salvia. She tried to get up and run away from me, and I grabbed her hand and asked her to stay. I told her what her name was, and she said she knew that but didn't know who I was. I told her my name, and she asked where we were again and what happened. Finally, she came down off of it but was not liking what had happened. I kept worrying that she would run away or something in that state of mind. I was happy she was back to normal. In her words, she explained her side of what happened. After she took her last hit, she thought she was in trouble for something but couldn't remember. She was convinced that if she just kept looking through her purse, she would remember what was going on. There were some power lines between us that caused her to be in another place. She said she was in an industrial world that was making that loud sound on the Twilight Zone right after when something bad happens. Then when she heard me talk and say my name, she thought she had been in a car accident. Actually, she was convinced it was some kind of accident and that I had found her in this field. She questioned if I was really who I said I was or if she was. Eventually, she began to come down and know that I was really her sister. At this time, we mutually decided to go home. She kept saying that the amnesiac effect scared her and that she wasn't too keen on smoking any salvia again for a while. We took a walk and talked about our different experiences during the day. I'm going to be 100% honest here and say that Salvia has changed me as a person permanently. After falling through that rip in the world, I am still not so sure that what I saw was just a hallucination. I look twice at everything now. I want to do it again just to see if I would go back through the rip and see the beings. As for my sister, she wants to try it again in the future after having some time to think about it. However, we both agree that the other person has to be entirely sober if we're going to do it properly. Also, we are better off in a confined space like my fenced-in backyard or the extra room. In case someone gets up and runs, there needs to be limits on where they can go and if they can hurt themselves. All in all, I think it has brought us closer in the sense that we have shared something that we can't really tell other people about. Be safe.